Okay. Post-match chat is live. Welcome, everybody. Slightly somber today. Well, very somber today, to be honest with you. The big news of today is the PSL has been postponed. There's been 7 positive COVID results returned, and there were loads of last-minute options being discussed. There were talks of having the whole tournament in Karachi and not moving to Lahore. There was talks of a 5-day break. But ultimately, the decision that's been made is to postpone the tournament indefinitely. The PCB say that they're going to try and host the rest of it later on in the year. That remains to be seen. All we know for now is, sadly, there was no match today, and there's not going to be any in the near future. That being said, we'll reflect a little bit on the postponement today, but we'll also reflect on some of the players who performed really well over the last few weeks. It's been an exciting tournament for what it's been. Some great performances, some good new players, some breakthrough performances, and some comebacks. So we're going to go through all that. And to do that, with me, as always, I have Anam Nadeem, Armaan Kirmani, and making his on-camera debut, our regular producer, but today he's on camera for the very first time. It's Arruff Asif, the man with 2 first names. So guys and girls, welcome to all of you. Anam, PSL postponed, sad times.
Yeah, so के उठो पहले तो लगा दी एक हैट्रिक होगी उसके बाद जैसे दिन अनफोल्ड होना शुरू हुआ एंड द होल पीएसएल थिंग स्टार्टेड मैसेजेस आ रहे हैं जी पोस्टपोन हो रहा है क्या हो रहा है एंड अनसर्टेनिटी थी एट दैट टाइम बिकॉज पीसीबी की तरफ से कोई ऑफिशियल स्टेटमेंट नहीं आया था लेकिन जब पता चल गया कि कोरोना केसेस बढ़ते जा रहे हैं एंड दिस इज द ओनली पॉसिबल सोल्यूशन राइट नाउ कि पीएसएल को पोस्टपोन कर दिया जाए हार्ट ब्रेकिंग है यार मतलब सबके लिए एज फैंस एज people who are involved in this industry काम करते हैं सबके लिए I think आज बहुत ही एक embarrassing दिन भी था sad दिन भी था मतलब बहुत से adjectives हैं जो आप use कर सकते हो और you know why it was embarrassing I think as we go on I think we should reflect on that as well a little bit but yeah overall dejected I am dejected.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. I mean, Armaan, there's the Wasim Khan, the PCB CEO, held a press conference. He talked about there's going to be an independent investigation. We'll find out a little bit more, I guess, where the blame lies. In the meantime, people are blaming each other. Franchises blaming the league. It's really sad because it's not just the players. People think about the players all the time, but there's a whole secondary market of people, a secondary economy that the PSL inspires. I mean, there's broadcasters, amateur and professional. There's, caterers. There's, service providers. There's all sorts of people who make their living from this, and this is awful.
यार आज मुझे ऐसी फीलिंग हुई जैसे कि कोई मेरी मंगनी या बात पक्की हो चुकी हो और फिर ऐन वक्त पे पता चले कि जब आप हॉल की तरफ जा रहे हो मैंने काफी ड्रामे देखे आजकल और वो कहें शादी कैंसिल मतलब कि इतना इन्वेस्टेड था मैं इस पीएसएल में इट वाज जैसे कहते हैं ना मतलब कि like in COVID I think since COVID has put us into lockdown here in the UK इससे ज्यादा खुशी वो भी अपने मुल्क में the biggest showcase of cricket इतना टैलेंट इतना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मजा आ रहा था इतनी सारी टीमें इतने इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स देखो कोविड के बारे में मैं ज्यादा इसलिए नहीं कहूंगा क्योंकि एक थोड़ा मॉरल इशू हो जाता है मेरे लिए क्योंकि अगर कोई प्लेयर बीमार हो जाता अगर ये कंटिन्यू करते या फिर फॉर द सेक ऑफ द इकोनॉमी जैसे आप कहते हैं ना लोगों के ऊपर इम्पैक्ट हुआ आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट लेकिन जान भी जा सकती थी एंड दैट्स नॉट मी बीइंग एग्जैजरेटिंग दैट इज जेन्युइनली द प्रॉब्लम विद कोविड-19 उस हिसाब से प्लेयर वेलफेयर के लिए इन्होंने जो भी स्टेप लिया मैं थोड़ा सा एग्री करता हूं कि ठीक है थोड़ी मिसमैनेजमेंट कहीं ना कहीं लोगों से हो गई होगी लेकिन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज वसीम खान साहब ने भी कही आज कि देखो थोड़ा बहुत जो है ना यू हैव टू पुलिस योरसेल्व्स ये हम थोड़ी मैच्योरिटी दिखानी पड़ती है मतलब कि आप कोई भी बबल दुनिया में आप प्रीमियर लीग उठा लो आप एनएफएल उठा लो आप एनबीए उठा लो आप कोई सी भी ऐसी चीज उठा लो उसमें आपको पॉजिटिव केसेस मिलेंगे तो ये देखो एक चीज एक तरीके से अगर एंगल से देखा जाए तो एक मैच्योर डिसीजन लिया हमने इकोनॉमी को फेवर नहीं किया हमने अपने प्लेयर वेलफेयर एक बहुत बड़ा साल है हमें वर्ल्ड कप में भी जाना है इंटरनेशनल टूर्स हैं इंटरनेशनल स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं स्पॉन्सर्स इतने आए हुए हैं अगर खुदा ना खास्ता कोई प्लेयर सिवियरली बीमार हो जाए तो वो तो और ज्यादा नुकसान होता और गालियां पड़ती हैं इंटरनेशनल लोग नहीं आते टूर्स कैंसिल हो जाते हैं स्पॉन्सर विड्रॉ हो जाते हैं शायद फॉरेन टूर्स में खुदा ना खास्ता हमारे टॉप 4 टॉप 5 बैट्समैन ना चले जाते तो वर्ल्ड कप अंडरमाइन हो जाता तो एक तरीके से अगर देखा जाए तो एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल डिसीजन लिया जिस चीज पे we should applaud क्योंकि they're in a no-win situation मैं एक चीज बोल दूं you're in a no-win situation तो इस हिसाब से हम बहुत
I don't think anybody's going to dispute that it was the right decision to make. It was absolutely the right decision with 7 COVID tests, players getting uncomfortable. You know, Dan Christian left from the Karachi Kings. He said he was uncomfortable. The day before, Tom Banton was positive as well. And of course, we know about Fawad from before that. Like, players' safety has to come first. I mean, I would argue fan safety is right behind that. But yeah, I think the decision is right. It's the circumstances that are disappointing, and it feels like somebody's dropped the ball. And hopefully, over time, we'll find out exactly who's dropped the ball, and they'll be punished. And I know a lot of people have theories. I don't really want to get into it personally myself, because we don't really know what's going on. All we know is, as fans, we're really disappointed. I'm looking at you in your Multan Sultan's top. You know, I wonder how many people in the last few days have ordered their shirts. People who watched it for the first time. You know, they're planning to support a team. You know, like. The merchandise sales that have been lost. I mean, it's awful. And obviously nothing compares to the loss of life. That's without question. It's just really sad as fans. 2:00 came today. There was no game on. I can't tell you how heartbroken I was, man.
Well, you waited till 2:00 to be heartbroken. I had Anam's message at 6 a.m. And it's disappointing, but it was the right thing to do in the end. It should have been done a lot earlier. The PCB and the PSL should have really looked at themselves, tried to set the example with Sami and Peshawar Zalmi breaking the rules. They let them off, kind of gave them a green signal for the rest of the players. And like we mentioned in the previous shows, that, you know what, players and their families and in the hotel, was it actually a bubble? Their social media kind of questioned that. But yeah, it was the right thing to do by the PCB and the PSL. Not actually want to blame anyone, but yeah, we're disappointed. I had my shirt ready. I'm sure you guys did. I'm not actually supporting Multan, to be honest. I just like their shirt.
It is.
So it's nice, isn't it? Yeah. There's a long story behind that as well. I ordered it. You know what it's like in Pakistan. It didn't turn up, and then when it turned up, it didn't have the Multan Sultan's badge on, and then I complained, and then Ali Tareen rang me to apologize, which was really nice of him. But yeah, we are disappointed in this year's.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait, so you ordered the shirt?
Yeah.
It didn't have Multan. So you just ordered a Pepsi shirt? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. So I paid for it. I ordered it. It didn't have the Multan logo on.
It just said Pepsi?
Yeah. So I sort of complained, and then I got a nice message from Ali Tareen, and then who met up with me at the World Cup at Edgbaston as well.
Right.
So it was a nice. I'm glad I got a really bad shirt initially. I
understand. Body approach hai, but samajh aa gayi na, he knows Ali Tareen, everybody. Just his approach.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. We are all disappointed, but it's the right thing to do. But I'm just gutted now, because what are we going to do every evening with this show? Like, we all got into a routine, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did, but don't worry, there's plenty of cricket out there, and we're not going anywhere, because we're still, well, certainly in the UK, we're still in lockdown, and we've got plenty of time to watch all the cricket that's happening in the world. So listen, the tournament's been cut short. It's sad, but we shouldn't let that undermine some of the amazing performances that we saw. Okay, there were some great knocks, even as recently as yesterday. We saw some great moments, great songs, great marketing, even great adverts, and all sorts of stuff. And I think it's nice that we honor that. Anam, I saw your hand go straight up. I feel like a schoolmaster. Hanji bolo, kya baat hai?
इससे पहले हम आगे जाएं, पीछे से दो चीज रह गई हैं. I want to say this on record कि ठीक है, blame game नहीं खेलनी, कुछ नहीं करना, लेकिन आज कुछ प्लेयर्स के हैंडल से ट्वीट्स आ रहे थे कि नजर लग गई. आई जस्ट वांट टू से दिस कि ये मुझे थोड़ा अनप्रोफेशनल लगा कि ये नजर लग गई, इस वजह से टूर्नामेंट जो है उसके साथ ये हो गया है. कमिंग फ्रॉम प्लेयर्स साइड, ये थोड़ा डिसअपॉइंटिंग था. आई जस्ट वांट टू रिकॉर्ड दिस, लाइक दिस हैज टू बी ऑन रिकॉर्ड. आई डिडंट लाइक दिस.
अच्छा, और दूसरी चीज
ये एक ही है, और दूसरी चीज ये, हाँ, बस कि ये नजर वाली चीज जो है ना, आई नो अरमान जो है वो कुछ ना कुछ इसके बारे में बोलना चाहेगा, बट आई फील कि प्लेयर्स की तरफ से ये डिसअपॉइंटिंग था, नजर वाली बात.
Chalo, you opened the door, so I got to let Armaan walk through it. Come on then. Do you have any comments on the Nazar tweets? So just for context, anybody that missed this, there were tons of tweets this morning, not just from cricketers, but fans. Yaar, hamari league ko nazar lag gayi, itni achhi jai thi, nazar lag gayi. I understand this is a Pakistani expression, but I'm sort of with you, Adam. It's a bit frustrating when people use nazar as an excuse for not observing the rules properly. But anyway, go on, Armaan, what are you going to say?
शाहनवाज धानी, आपने देखा कितना खूबसूरत इस बॉलर ने परफॉर्मेंस दी है. यंग प्लेयर, देखा आपने कि नहीं देखा? अनम जी, आपने देखा? प्रोड्यूसर साहब,
बिल्कुल, आई एम अ फैन.
फैन हो ना? तो अब आप मुझे बताओ यंग प्लेयर, इतनी बेहतरीन परफॉर्मेंस, पूरी दुनिया एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है, वाओ अनदर स्पीडस्टर हैज कम फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान, दुनिया में वाह वाह हो रही है इस बंदे की, आप सपोर्ट कर रही हैं, आतिफ भाई फैंटेसी में पिक कर रहे हैं, यू नो व्हाट, मुल्तान सुल्तान सिंह, यू नो वी गॉट अ प्लेयर हियर। अब उसकी फैमिली की नजर से आप अगर देखें तो क्या हुआ है, बच्चे को नजर लग गई है, इतना खूबसूरत वो खेल रहा था, पूरा टूर्नामेंट कैंसिल हो गया, अब उस बंदे का करियर पता नहीं चले वर्ल्ड कप में जाए ना जाए, हु नोज। तो नजर लगना जो है, देखो, इट डज नॉट एब्सॉल्व एनीबॉडी फ्रॉम एनी मिस्टेक्स दैट दे मेड, लेकिन जो लोग बिलीव करते हैं, मैं पर्सनली एक्चुअली बिलीव भी नहीं करता, लेकिन मैं रिस्पेक्ट करता हूं जो लोग बिलीव करते हैं इस बात में, उस वक्त जो उनके इमोशन होंगे वो ऐसे ही होंगे ना यार, इतना खूबसूरत टूर्नामेंट हमारे मुल्क के लिए चल रहा है, तो नजर तो लग गया, आप इसको मिस्टेक ना करेंगे, मैं कह रहा हूं कि यार किसी की गलती नहीं थी, लेकिन देखो जो आदमी ईमान रखता है ना, तो उसको जब ऐसी ट्रेजेडी होती है व्हेन इट्स अनफोर्सीन, उससे ही हम नजर कहते हैं। अच्छी नजर भी आपको गलत तरीके में उसका इफेक्ट हो सकता है। तो द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज, नजर ही लगी है, लेकिन दैट डजंट मीन पीपल आर नॉट एट फॉल्ट। तो लेकिन देखो, जब एक हादसा होता है ना, जस्ट फाइनली लास्ट थिंग, आप सॉरी, जब एक हादसा होता है ना, कोविड इज अ हादसा, नोबडी हैज अ फुल प्रूफ थिंग फॉर इट, दुनिया में हर जगह ये चीज फैल रही है, हम यस द एसओपीज कुड हैव बीन टाइटर, मैं एग्री करता हूं, दे कुड हैव बीन मोर, लेकिन जो चीज होनी थी वो हो गई, शायद जान भी बच गई हो, तो नजर लगी है कहीं ना कहीं से, तो इट कुड बी आवर ओन नजर, क्योंकि हम इतना सपोर्ट कर रहे थे। तो मैं इन चीजों में, यू नो, वी जस्ट वांट टू प्ले द ब्लेम गेम, छोड़ो यार, यू नो, ब्लेम भी हमने बहुत कर लिया, अब हम सपोर्ट करना चाहिए, जो भी हमारे पीसीबी इलेक्टेड ऑफिशियल्स ने की है, अपॉइंटेड ऑफिशियल्स ने की है, सही की होगी, मैं ये बिलीव करता हूं।
I'm kind of with a little bit on with both of you. I understand it's obviously, you know, players के लिए भी एक हादसा. You know, it's not just we think of it as fans because this is our entertainment, but all of these players have this platform. They've definitely suffered a big loss here as well. So if it helps them cope by tweeting, नजर लग गई है, chalo, you know, I'll let it go. I won't go militant on it. I do understand nowadays, Anam, as you're saying, yeah, aajkal players ko, you know, they explain their games, they defend their games, they're under media scrutiny, vagera, vagera. Chalo, you know, we'll let this one go. And the reason I don't personally want to get into the blame game is we don't really have enough information yet. All we really know is what people are claiming, and we haven't seen concise evidence. I mean, there's a few photographs that have come out. One was even brought up in the press conference. But I think Wasim Khan really kind of got the nail on the head when he said there should be a shared sense of responsibility about this. It's no one person's fault. This is a joint responsibility of everybody. They've got it. There's self-policing. You know, he kept saying self-policing, and that's a good point because when the lights are, I know this. I was in a bubble last summer when Pakistan were playing against England. We were all in the same hotel, and I really like. I've got Shaheen Afridi 5 meters away from me. You don't think I want to go and give him a high five, but I don't because I'm not an actor in a Pakistani web series. And sorry, that's a bit of a dig, but I wasn't allowed one. Acha, listen. Enough of that. It's postponed. Uska kuch nahi ho sakta. Inshallah, we'll get it later half of the year. PSL will come back. We'll finish it. This show will continue long before and after that as well. So let's talk about the PSL that we did see. Okay, 14 matches we saw, 14 very exciting games, some very encouraging action. I'm going to go around and ask you guys to pick one player that stood out for you, one batsman and one bowler, okay, that stood out for you. And because that's a bit mean to do to you last minute, I'm going to start the stakes, okay? I'll start with the batsman, the one batsman that stood out for me. And it feels like it's the cult of the new, but he really did impress me this much. It was Osman Khan, who debuted for Quetta. On his debut match, he's a university student in Karachi. He's just about made this first team and got a game. Imagine his luck. One day before the league gets postponed, he just about gets on this platform and gets himself an 80 and his splash. Nobody would know his name if this thing had stopped one day earlier, but we got to see Usman. He was fantastic. My player, my batsman that I enjoyed the most. Let me go to our guest first, actually. Arif Asif. It feels weird to call you guest because you're the producer of the show, but we're going to call you guest nonetheless. Who's been your batsman to watch? Who's been the batsman that impressed you the most?
You know what? This is a really hard one. I think normally you have that one standout player because there's only been 10 days, everybody was just sort of getting into their groove, knocking a few runs here and there. Shajil was brilliant, Babar Azam and that partnership together. But for me, I think considering being a Pakistani fan and wanting this new sort of the new selection committee building around Babar Azam, I think for me, Babar Azam stands out. He's not a slugger, he's a stroke player, and you know what? He showed the rest how to stay calm, and get the runs at the same time. So for me, for batting wise, it's definitely Babar Azam for me.
Yeah, he did very well. He's right there near the top. I think he's in second place in the top run scorers. He's played one more game than some of the other players, but a second top run scorer in this year's league. A great season for Babar Azam. Great entertainment provided to fans. Armaan, go on. Who is your batsman that's stood out for you?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a lot of great performances. Shoaib Maksud did really well. Hossain Talab did really well. Haider Ali, made up for his
You're
short.
doing the same thing you accused Anam of yesterday. You're just taking all the names, and then by the time you pick one, there's nobody left.
But the guy I'm going to go for as a batsman is Asif Ali, because I felt strike rate wise, Pakistan are still lacking in the middle order. We've got people who can, you can build around. I almost think that we've just got openers that just happen to bat at 4, 5, and 6. I don't think we've got a specialist number 6 yet for somebody to come and really, score at 12, 15. So मैं उस चीज को ढूंढ रहा था, because माशाल्लाह सुभान अल्लाह हमारे पास जो talent अभी ऊपर है वो तो set ही है, ठीक है ना. लेकिन 5-6 पे really was on the lookout, and I think कल जो अमाद भट्ट ने मारा है और जो आसिफ अली, but Asif Ali I've seen doing it more consistently. That stat that we heard, he hits a 6 every 7 balls, is a wonderful T20 stat. So averages or har cheez, I'll put them to the side in highest runs. I just want to know, when it comes down to it, chakka kaun marega yaar?
Yeah, Asif Ali is a great pick, and he was very impressive a couple of times this time around. And as you say, Ahmad was great as well. But I'm with you there. Asif's put his hand up, put both hands up, ready for that Pakistan number 6 spot. Anam, batsman.
आसिफ अली जब वो इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड की शर्ट पहनेगा ना, उसको पाकिस्तान टीम में आप रखें, लेकिन पहनाएं उसको इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड की शर्ट, ही इज गोना परफॉर्म. वो पाकिस्तान शर्ट पहन के परफॉर्म नहीं करता, पता नहीं क्या मसला है. For me, it's Haider Ali. I think he's been able to regain some sort of form. और जो हमने PSL 5 पिछले साल जो हमने देखा था PSL में, जिस तरह से हैदर ऊपर आया था, वो इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे गया, थोड़ी सी परफॉर्मेंसेस डिप हुई. But I've seen the same glimpses of him जितनी भी उसने इस दफा स्कोर किया है. The only thing with Haider is talent है, but थोड़ा सा यहाँ से काम लेने की जरूरत है. And if जिस तरह उसके साथ यूनुस खान भी है काम करने के लिए, we've got Mohammad Yusuf in the NCA, तो थोड़ा सा उसके साथ काम किया जाए तो I think Haider is our go-to man.
Yeah, Haider Ali's been very impressive, and there were some questions about his form recently, but apparently given a lot of confidence by both Pakistan management and his franchise management. So great picks there, guys. No love for Ravi Bopara, but that's okay. All the English guys, all these English batsmen coming over scoring runs, no love. Chalo, let's talk about the bowlers. I'll kick us off again. I'm going to go with Mohammad Wasim. I very nearly went with Mohammad Hasnan, but I can't get those images, that lack of control at times, particularly at the death of Mohammad Hasnan out of my head. So I'm going to go with Mohammad Wasim. Very exciting prospect. He runs in super quick, got wickets his first match, looks really motivated, very pacey. Any kind of fast bowler that can hit the base of the stumps at that kind of speed, I really like. And obviously, we got the obvious ones, and maybe some of you guys will pick them. But this guy is a new talent that I really like the look of, and I hope he's cultivated a bit more. Arif Asif, tell us.
So for me, I think if you look for a Pakistani bowler, it's got to be Shaheen Shafi, the best bowler in the world, proving it internationally, domestically. And you know what? I don't know whether this is correct, but I think he's got the most sort of international players out in the PSL so far, the batsman. So for me, he's definitely got to be the pick. But if you had to pick an international bowler, there's nobody better than my Lancashire bowler, Saqib Mahmood, who really went in and surprised everyone. The control, the know-how, and you know what? He's not even played many international games yet. He's not a household name yet. And yeah, for me, if you pick an international bowler, it's got to be Saqib. But yeah, I bet one of his parents' families are sort of disputing whether he's international or a Pakistani player. But yeah, for me, it's between Saqib or Shaheen, but I'll give it to Shaheen.
Yeah, I mean, Shaheen, obviously, everybody knows how great he is. Saqib was the surprise package in this year's PSL. A lot of people were messaging me saying, why isn't he in the Pakistan team? Why isn't he playing? It's because he's English, yaar. He's from England. He's from Lancashire. He's a British Pakistani, like us, like two of us, like three of us. So this is the thing. He was brilliant. He's great. He did play for England against Pakistan last summer in the T20s, and he didn't have the best games, but This has got to build a lot of confidence in him. Looking forward to seeing more of Saqib, maybe with the England shirt on. Let's go to Armaan, bowler. I have a feeling I know who you're going to pick, but tell me anyway.
No, you think I'm going to pick Mohammad Amir?
No, I think you're going to pick the guy with my dad's name.
Oh, शाहनवाज धानी. यार कंपटीशन बहुत है इस वाले में. मैं शाहनवाज धानी को शाउट आउट ऑलरेडी बहुत प्यारा वाला दे चुका हूं यार नजर वाले सेगमेंट में. अब मैं थोड़ा
चलो बदलो कोई और रखो. कोई किसको रख रहे हो? Who's your favorite? Like your standout?
और ऑनेस्टली मेरे पास दो हैं. बहुत मुश्किल से मैं कर रहा हूं, लेकिन मैं एक पे जाऊंगा. I'm gonna go for जाहिद महमूद. ठीक है, ये बंदे ने अभी डेब्यू किया है, ठीक है ना, और जिस तरीके से पाकिस्तान का उसका डेब्यू किया, एंड देन there's so much competition for the spinning position right now in T20 Pakistan cricket. Mohammad Nawaz है वहाँ पे, obviously Imad Wasim is there, you got this new Qadir is there, Osman Qadir. There's just so much competition. लेकिन इस बंदे का जो temperament है ना, मतलब कि हैट्रिक अभी लेते लेते कल के मैच में बेचारा मिस हो गया, इकोनॉमी भी ज्यादा नहीं दे रहा. That's the key thing. ये बंदा रन भी नहीं ज्यादा देता, विकेटें भी ले रहा है, टेम्परमेंट भी इस बंदे का अच्छा है. I really think that our traditional Shadab Khan, Imad Wasim, maybe Usman Qadir, वर्ल्ड कप में शायद जगह ना बन पाए. ऐसे ऐसे प्लेयर आ रहे हैं. मोहम्मद नवाज ने फिर सुपर किया, तो दो स्पिनर अगर हम खिलाएंगे, जाहिद महमूद लग रहा है.
There's a big leg spin influence at the moment in the Pakistan setup. So many leg spin options. Zaid Mahmood, you go Usman Qadir, Shadab, obviously Yasir Shah is there as well. So many options with the leg spin, and then don't even get started on off spin with Mohammad Nawaz doing a great job. Great pick. I really like the look of Zaid, and if anybody's watching this, there's a great article by Faizan Likhani about the circumstances of his international debut. It's an extraordinary. Check it out. Just Google Zaid Mahmood and you'll find it. Don't worry. Anam, who was your pick for your favorite bowler of the tournament?
Yeah, दहानी तो है ही है. But I think दहानी को इतनी ज्यादा वही अरमान वाली बात कि उसको बहुत ज्यादा लाइमलाइट किया, and he deserves all of it. Arshad Iqbal, PSL final last year में भी he performed, and इस साल भी he's been consistent with his pace, with his line and length, and I think he's bang on money every time. Arshad Iqbal is my go-to guy this year. अभी तक जितने matches हुए हैं, I'm really impressed by his performance.
He was superb. He took wickets for Karachi multiple times, and as you say, so and consistent over the last season as well. A great pick, maybe a little bit underrated in the international setup. There's a lot of competition there, but
the good thing is कि बहुत से fast bowlers हैं. Even मोहम्मद इमरान ज़ल्मी के लिए खेला था. मोहम्मद इमरान के भी कुछ बहुत fit overs जो उसने करवाए थे, economical थे. So I think fast bowling के department में भी we are covered. Like अच्छे लोग, अच्छे fast bowlers आगे आ रहे हैं. हसनैन, नसीम शाह, शाहीन, they've already been there. But backup में we've got good players as well now.
Yeah, absolutely. The great Daniel as well, as you say, with that Yorker that nearly stole the show from both Shaheen and Amir. Extraordinary performance. Yeah, I mean, some great batsmen, great bowlers, and the Saqib Mahmood was a surprise, really, at the top of the wicket takers list this year. I don't think anybody expected that, and maybe it wouldn't have lasted till the end. One could argue, but sadly, we don't know yet. We'll find out eventually. Acha, let's talk about captaincy a little bit, because there's a lot of chat about captaincy. A lot of captains have been negatively critiqued. Looking at Sohail Akhtar and Sarfraz Ahmed, obviously got a lot of negative critique. But equally, they both had their moments of really showing it. They turned it on. Lahore managed to beat Karachi in a nail biter, and obviously Sarfraz got Quetta their first win the other day. Arif, which captain have you been most impressed by?
I think for me, I know some people are not going to like this, but for me, I think all the criticism that Sarfraz got earlier on with his sort of body language and how he was on the field with the players, especially with, I think it was Shinwari, I think Anam mentioned that a few episodes ago. I actually think he wasn't doing it much wrong. He's passionate. He wants his team to do well. Maybe personally, Shinwari wasn't the right person to do it for. But then in the last game, like Armaan's mentioned in that episode, that he had it tactically. He had the batting side like begging for runs. He left the spinners on. He had them really, wrong word to use, but he was choking down the runs. It was just amazing. And you know what? Considering him losing the Pakistan captaincy, he sort of proved a point there. You know what? I can bat, I can keep, and I can captain. So you know what? For me, Sarfraz Ahmed has really set the standard high for himself. Really, if the PSL was meant to, well, we wish it come back, but when it does, that last game, he set the standard high now for himself to live up to. And if he does, you know what? We're gonna have a great PSL for Quetta.
Yeah, he did a great job in the last game. So, and as you say, a lot of people, saying why is Rohil Nazir not in the setup? Why isn't he second choice? Why aren't we planning for the future? But the truth is, Sarfraz is an outstanding wicketkeeper. It's just Rizwan is on the run of his life at the moment. Also a very good shout for captain. Maybe he's going to come up in a second. I don't know. But yeah, people forget Sarfraz has got plenty of international honours to his name as well, junior and senior. And people always forget it's very short-term memories in Pakistan. Everybody is Gajini in Pakistan sometimes. Anyway, that's going to be a very controversial thing. Anyway, Armaan, which captain impressed you?
Yeah, when you ask me this question, we'll have to make I'm going for Sarfaraz, and I'm going to tell you why. Very, very disappointed by Shadab Khan. He's our vice captain. Really saw nothing of him as a leader in this whole tournament. Pretty disappointing with the ball in most games. I know he got that one stumping finally. Nothing to say about his captaincy, frankly. Rizwan has had a go as captain for Pakistan, didn't do too well in New Zealand as captain. Very good with the bat. Again, found him very, very passive over here. Didn't really enjoy it. Imad Wasim didn't even, make some very questionable decisions for Karachi. I know they're top of the table, but I really don't know how much he's contributed to that himself as a player and as a leader. That might be being a little bit unfair, but Karachi are a very talented team, and I know he's well respected. To captain the national captain in your own team cannot be an easy job. But I don't see anything tactically from this player to say, you know what, him. I don't know who else I've missed out, but there are others there. But the same thing. I don't want to repeat myself. Kisi aur team ko Lahore Qalandars sohe lagta tha. You tell me. Has he been noticeable in this tournament at any point tactically or with his batting or his performance? No. मैंने पहले show में भी आपको यही कहा था, मैंने आपको बीच में भी यही कहा था. There's just a sentiment against Sarfaraz. We're looking to replace people. We like the excitement of Rizwan and Rohil Nazir and Azam Khan, and I get it. These guys are very exciting and they're phenomenal players. लेकिन आप मुझे एक चीज बताओ, जब आप ड्रेसिंग रूम में जाओगे, ठीक है ना, जब आप वर्ल्ड कप में होगे and your backs are against the wall, like who's Babar going to talk to? Like tell me, who in that room or in that squad does Babar Azam have that he can say he's going to go to Rizwan, who's never won a game for Pakistan more or less? He might have won the odd one here and there, but what experience does he have in terms of leadership, right? This guy has won the Under-19 World Cup, beaten India in the final. He's won an ICC Champions Trophy. He's had a good record. He's played in World Cups as Pakistan's captain and done relatively well. Not amazingly well, but done relatively well. So, and he commands the respect of the Quetta team. He's been their captain for 6 years as well. And he has a strong support. So, it is Sarfaraz. He was tactically good. Yes, questionable in terms of his body language and his treatment of players. Lekin not everyone is the same. So like aap robots ko phir captain kara do. You know what I mean? If you're going to criticize a guy for shouting at a bowler because he's not bowling the length, and we've seen the bowlers change their length, and we've seen them now choke and win games and be the first team to defend a total. So the same things you are criticizing for, the same things that have led them to their road for recovery. So Sarfaraz all day long, the best captain currently within the Pakistani setup.
Well, I mean, it's not reflected in the results, but that much we can say. But yeah, I'd go along with both of you guys. I think he certainly showed the most influence as captain on field. And he definitely picked himself up. Like any critique that was being leveled at him, he addressed, I think, as the tournament went on. But somehow Quetta still found themselves at the bottom of the table in the first half of this league. It just goes to show you, right? Captain can't do everything. Anam, you've done a whole piece on captains recently, and we're looking forward to seeing that when that comes out. So tell me something about captaincy that I haven't already heard from Arif and Basit. Armaan, sorry.
यार मैं किसी भी कैप्टन से इम्प्रेस नहीं हुई इस सीजन में क्योंकि फ्रैंकली ठीक है, सरफराज ने कल वाला मैच जीता और वहां से पीएसएल ही बंद हो गई. अब आगे मतलब देखना था कि आगे क्या होना है. पीएसएल ही बंद होगी कि आगे क्या बात करें भाई. आपने फाइनली कर्स ऑफ द नेशनल स्टेडियम आपने खत्म किया है और वहां से उन्होंने कहा जी पैकअप चले घर जाए, अब आगे खेलना ही नहीं. So
I shared this photo of Sarfraz yesterday at the press conference, smiling, and everybody, like I do okay on Twitter. I get some nice likes and retweets, but I can't explain to you how many people just liked that photograph. He's just smiling. He's just so happy, and it's just nice to see him happy again. Anyway, sorry, Anam. Please keep going.
Finally, मतलब सरफराज के वो इतना ज़्यादा बोझ था उस बेचारे के ऊपर, तो चलो finally he got his share of smile. But बाकी सबको देखें, सोहेल अख्तर, I feel Lahore need to change the ये कैप्टनसी वाला रोल कंप्लीटली. सोहेल अख्तर कुछ क्या है भाई, क्यों है, क्या करता है, मुझे नहीं आज तक समझ आई. वो T10 में he was the best batsman. यहाँ पे आके वो भूल जाता है कि यार वो क्या खेल रहा है, रोल्स हैं, सब कुछ डिफाइंड है, but still there needs to be a spark. सोहेल अख्तर इज जस्ट लाइक वो एक बंदा है जिसको उन्होंने बोल दिया कि कैप्टन हूँ, आप कैप्टन हो, और वो बेचारा बस ठीक है टॉस करने आया हूँ, पोस्ट मैच में जाके बोल दूंगा. इसके अलावा क्या करता है यार वो, मुझे नहीं पता ऑनेस्टली. इमाद वसीम ठीक है जी, PSL विनिंग कैप्टन है, कांट टेक दैट अवे फ्रॉम हिम, बट अगेन जो पूरा ट्रेंड रहा है ना कि कोई टीम जिसने सेकंड बॉलिंग कराई है वो जीत नहीं सकी है, तो कहीं ना कहीं कैप्टनसी रोल्स भी इसमें डिपेंड करते हैं कि आपने एज ए कैप्टन आपके रोल्स एग्जीक्यूट कर पाए थे, प्लान्स एग्जीक्यूट कर पाए थे या नहीं कर पाए थे. तो कहीं ना कहीं सब फेल हुए हैं ना इस चीज में. तो I don't know. I wasn't impressed by anybody this year. And I feel Zalmi, Lahore Qalandars seriously need to think about their long-term captaincy plans.
Zalmi? No love for Wahab?
Yeah, Wahab, yeah. I don't think Wahab is a long-term solution for Zalmi either, man. No, I don't think so. उनको भी कोई और कैप्टन, and not even Malik. I'm not even saying that they need to rely back on Malik. पर हाँ, अरमान जो कह रहा था कि पाकिस्तान के सेटअप में कौन जाएगा जब बाबर को मुश्किल आएगी. मलिक को 2017 चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी में भी उसी ने स्पीच दी तो जी चीजें बदल गई. मलिक को रखे आप स्पीच देने के लिए, जब जब मुश्किल आएगी स्पीच दे, बाबर को बताए, बस ठीक है, काम चल जाएगा.
मलिक भी स्पॉट में नहीं है.
हाँ, वर्ल्ड कप तक आ जाएगा यार, आ जाएगा.
We got Hafiz. We don't need to worry.
There, of course, you got the professor. He's there.
The man that played for 18 years and was never considered as a captain.
He's that good.
He was captain a couple of times in between, but never a long-term solution for Pakistan. So anyway, interesting. So some great takes on captaincy there. I've got to be honest, it's exactly what I expected, based on knowing you guys a little bit. So okay, so finally, let's talk about some of the things external to the cricket, that were happening. And I don't mean the negative stuff like the COVID stuff. Like, a lot will be said about that, so you don't need us to tell you that. But there were some great segments, and I don't mean the ones of people eating donuts. I'm talking about, the people that were honored, some of the dandruff thing. Did you like the dandruff dance? Like, I can't tell you how irritating I find it. I just want to turn my Skype off right now with all three of you doing it. It's the most...
There's one thing that I've taken away from this PSL is that I need to change my brand of shampoo.
Yeah, good. I might start drinking tea. No, I'm never going to start drinking tea.
Tapal.
मैं तो चाय कभी भी नहीं पीऊंगा. बहरहाल, और मैंने डोनट भी छोड़ दिया है. इतना उनका रिवर्स इफेक्ट हो गया. इतने बार दिखाओ मुझे, मैं और कम खाऊंगा, और दिखाओ मुझे. This is the thing. So, but those segments, seriously, those segments were really good. I thought, some of the presentation was really good. Getting a hold of David Gower was a really cool thing for me. I thought that was great. Arif, what did you make of some of the production, the presentation, and the segments of the PSL this year?
I think you're right. The production was really good, but I think a lot of that was down to Wasim Khan. This was a make or break thing for him. There was a lot of this, we can do this right, international teams are coming back, so we have to get this right. And especially after last year, they outsourced it to a company and it didn't go correctly. And then the last phase, when they had to come back, I think it was a few months back, they gave it to another company. So they had to get this right. I think they did well to sell the rights to the right channels. We're not getting pixelated streams anymore. We're getting a really nice HD Sky Sports feed, which helped. And I think you're right, David Gower, for me, he's soothing to my ears. He's just like, I don't know how to say it, but he if you put him on and just leave him, and I hear his voice talking about cricket, I'll be the happiest man alive, to be honest. His voice is just beautiful. And you know what? He actually talks sense. I know he shies away from some of the banter the rest of the commentators have, but I'd rather have him on all the time and talking, educating me about the game, and shying away from these segments. There's been many times where the logos have come up on the screen and he's just kind of stayed blank and not said anything. So yeah, he was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. But I think the PCB have got it right there. It's just a shame that all this has had to just kind of end abruptly for now. But yeah, I think the future is good. I think we're ready. We can host a big World Cup if circumstances allow us to. We've got the production value. Our grounds are looking good, except for the fact that the boundaries keep coming in every match. But other than that, our grounds are looking good. Our commentary is good. Everything's good. So I'm quite looking forward to the future of not only the PSL but Pakistan cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said it beautifully. I'm going to clip that bit of you talking about David Gower and send it to him because he'll really enjoy it. He really loves these things. Gower was great. I thought generally the commentators, they were a nice mix as well. I thought Uruj was an absolute standout. I thought she was absolutely brilliant personally. To give me your 2 cents on the presentation this year and the whole production and some of the segments, Armaan.
जबरदस्त मतलब कि जो इंटरनेशनल फीड पे गई हैं लोग कह रहे हैं यार स्काई की वजह से बड़ा जबरदस्त है सोनी अब नहीं भाई हमने सिर्फ उनको राइट्स बेचे हैं प्रोड्यूस तो हमने इन हाउस ही किए इस बार सो वेल डन टू द पीसीबी इट वाज डेफिनेटली अ वंडरफुल प्रोडक्शन छोड़ो यार डेविड गावर की तुम लोग बातें कर रहे हो पाकिस्तानी टैलेंट तुमने देखा है क्या बेहतरीन हमारे पास टैलेंट था ये लोग तो आए यार इनको तो कोई काम ही नहीं दे रहा जो ये लोग हमारे पास आए हमने तो इनको मेड श्योर दे वर out of work so respect to them for everything they've achieved लेकिन this is a Pakistani celebration तो डेविड गावर की शक्ल देख के मुझे कोई सुकून रात को नींद नहीं आती
Did you get a chat in the morning? Did he show you how to hold the ball?
Why is David Howard showing me how to hold the ball? Yeah.
No, I mean the commentators. You're celebrating.
मेरी बात सुनो. PSL commentators are the people that have made this brand and taken it to this level. So अब यहाँ तक they should be rewarded and given the experience on the international stage. मुझे तो बहुत मजा आता है मैं उरूज को देखता हूँ. I see Ramiz Raja finally for all the struggles that he's gone through. I don't always love his analysis, but I like the fact that we've got someone who's definitely so experienced and been on that international level. I love to see Zainab Abbas, who I've seen. I know she didn't commentate as much during this PSL, but she was there during the Hamara Hero segment. She adds a lot of credibility, especially in the post-match segments as well. So shout out Bazid Khan. People might not love his taste of commentary, but his whole thing with Dominic Hook, I mean, that is a type of humor that has helped the PSL brand grow and get an audience that traditionally probably wouldn't have watched the PSL. These are Pakistani talent. Or, that's what I love, that, we had a good mix. And bulao yaar David ko, Nasir Hussain, Atherton, just ko, sabko bulao aur dikhao inko, कि भाई cricket ऐसी होती है.
No, it was great. We've got to shout out the rest of them as well. Sana Mir was really good on international. Well, it's not international, but I think this is the most high-profile commentary gig for her. And obviously Alan Wilkins and Simon Dool, all great. And Amir Sahil, how could we forget Amir Sahil? Also terrific. And Punjab, sneaking in some Punjabi. We got some taste of Wasim Akram Punjabi. He was doing some Punjabi commentary during the national T20. But this time we got some Amir Sahil Punjabi, which is great. Anam, I know you're dying to say something based on what Armaan said. What were you going to say?
अच्छा किसी ने ट्वीट किया हुआ था not so long ago कि बाजिद का इंसाइट और रमीज की आवाज अगर एक बंदे में आ जाए तो बहुत फिट कमेंटेटर मिल जाएगा तो
They're both really nice. They're both lovely guys.
Absolutely. वो तो कोई शक नहीं है पर हाँ सबकी अपनी अपनी टेक्स होती हैं इन चीजों के ऊपर भी और बैंटर है आई थिंक यही मजा है पीएसएल का सबसे बड़ा जो हम प्रोडक्शन की बात करें सब कुछ कर रहे हैं आई थिंक वी आर फॉरगेटिंग ट्विटर जहाँ पे जो बेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस है व्हाइल यू वाचिंग द मैच एंड यू स्क्रॉलिंग योर ट्विटर टाइमलाइन वो जो कॉम्बिनेशन है ना उसका कोई वो रिप्लेसमेंट है ही नहीं एंड आई थिंक अब इतनी आदत पड़ गई हुई है जैसे जैसे मैच चल रहा है और ट्वीट्स आ रही हैं I cannot live without it, like frankly. जो ट्विटर टाइमलाइन पे मीम्स इंस्टेंटली देखने को मिलती हैं लोगों के कमेंट्स देखने को मिलते हैं इट जस्ट लाइक इट लाइवन्स अप योर डे एज वेल मजा आता है सो आई थिंक अपार्ट फ्रॉम व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन पीएसएल के अंदर प्रोडक्शन वाइज एंड ऑल दैट ट्विटर को भी शाउट आउट है अगर ट्विटर टाइमलाइन नहीं हो तो इतना मजा ना आए जितना एक्चुअली आता है सो आई एम अ ह्यूज फैन ऑफ द एंटायर ट्विटर टाइमलाइन
Bilkul, me too. If you enjoy, by the way, show us some love on Twitter for post-match chat because there's a lot more coming. This isn't going away, just because sadly the PSL is going away.
Just in support of our Pakistani commentators, Ramiz Raja, World Cup winner. Amir Suhail, World Cup winner. जो गोरे आप लाए डेविड गावर ने कितने वर्ल्ड कप जीतने
उसने एशेस जीते हैं ना, अंग्रेजों को एशेस ज्यादा प्यारी हैं।
सुनो ना मेरी बात मैं सिर्फ ये हाईलाइट करना चाह रहा हूँ कि थोड़ा बहुत जो हमें है ना भाई, गोरा आ जाता है पाकिस्तान तो हम लोग नाचने लगते हैं यार, बोल कलंदर शुरू हो जाता है भाई। हमारे जो कमेंटेटर है दुनिया से व्हाइट बॉल में कम नहीं है, ये तो टेस्ट के प्लेयर आप बुला लिए। अब इनसे बोलो कि सुने रमीज को, सुने आमिर सुहेल को, ये तो वर्ल्ड कप जीत चुके हैं और गोरों को हराया था।
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I can't endorse anybody suggesting that Ramiz or Amir Sahil have anything to teach David Gower. Listen, I'm with I'm not, I'm generally on the side of like not necessarily seeking out foreigners to replace people. I just think Gower added a different dimension, a bit of class, credibility to the voice, like especially fans around the world who've grown up on his voice. I just listened to David Gower talk about cricket my whole life, you know. So it was really nice for him to be a part of that setup, you know, to joke about the plot of land. I really hope he gets that plot. I hope he gets the plot of land. I hope they give it to him and stop talking about it. And we get one of those like MTV Crib style segments of, you know, with David Gower. This is my plot. So yeah, it was great. So listen, just before we wrap this up, it's been a pleasure, by the way, talking to you guys every day about the PSL and everybody watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to have your comments and your support on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. It's been really, really nice. It's a shame that it's come to this kind of abrupt anti-climax for the time being. But inshallah, इससे भी वापस आ जाएंगे. इससे बहुत बुरे वक्त देखे हैं पाकिस्तानी cricket ने. So before we go, one concise statement from each of you. Your moment of the PSL, the one moment that you will remember like 3 weeks later when you're having your biryani and you'll just think about the PSL and this one thing will come into your mind. It could be anything. It could be a shot. It could be an innings. It could be a wicket. It could be somebody breaking tarbuzas with their head. Whatever comes to mind. Asif, you go first.
I think for me, putting the cricket aside, the one thing I'm definitely not going to forget is every time Zainab Abbas did her segment on the heroes, there'll be a wicket in the background. And I think at one point she got so fed up with it, she actually said live on air, every time I come on, there's a wicket, so back to the studio. So yeah, for me, it's definitely going to be Zainab Abbas and her segment.
Yeah, absolutely. We love you, Zainab, if you're watching. Armaan. The head and shoulders dance? Seriously?
मतलब कि you know they made everybody do it, तो मैं भी करता हूँ, आप भी करें.
No, absolutely not. I'm not participating in this. I can't. Look at this. What is this? Unbelievable.
You just carry on, guys. I'm just going to do my thing here.
Post-match chat. Acha, Anam, batao, what was it for you?
The bling bling, hot bling moment, Shahnawaz Dhani and Carlos Brathwaite की celebration.
Oh,
I think कभी भी हाँ कहीं भी बैठे
Yeah, that is
ग्रीजमैन की याद भी आती है थोड़ी थोड़ी और hot bling ड्रेक का जो गाना है वो भी थोड़ा थोड़ा. So yeah, that's my moment. Yeah.
That was brilliant. And for me, I really want to say the watermelon guy, not the watermelon moment, but he's great. You know, he's a proper fighter. He's incredible, great achievements. It was the moment that he knocked over the mic stand, and then the expression on his face where he hits the mic stand over, and then he goes like this. He goes.
यार
never forget that. I think I will live, if I live to be 150, I will never forget the way I felt when I saw that gentleman, the martial arts legend, turn to the mic, knock it over, turn to camera and go.
What you're saying, Aatif, is Hamare heroes introduced us to mountain climbers, like desert riders, and I don't know, like people who cured like diseases and did good things for deaf people and like amazing people, right?
Electric cars, man.
Electric cars, you know, to help the environment in a country like Pakistan with such a big population. और एक बंदा जो तुम्हें याद रहेगा वो बंदा है जिसने दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा अखरोट अपने सर से तोड़े.
Incredible. It's amazing. That's something to aspire to. I'm going to put a poll on to ask the viewers of this channel exactly who they want to see out of us or maybe our guests break some akhrots with their head. Let's see how that goes. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. We will be back very, very soon. Stay in tune. Stay following us on Twitter and things like that for announcements. But there's a lot of cricket happening. We just have to choose what we're going to broadcast, which we're going to do very, very soon. But again, I thank you all for your time, for choosing us for your post-match coverage. Post-match chat is done.